Glasses with Tablet Pro, and I'm going to go through another stylus review. And really this is kind of just a real quick comparison. We're going to compare all the other styluses to the Raphael 520. This is a brand new stylus. It's been out for, as far as I know, just about a week. The company, the Raphael 5, which I've been promoting, has been out for a little while. The company sent me the updated version just recently, and they were kind enough to send all three colors. All three colors. So they have the silver, the, I would call this, I don't know what color, maroon. Maroon, yeah, that's what it is. Maroon and black. So I have all three of these, and they have two stylus nibs that come in the box. So you can see right here, 1, 2, and the stylus goes in like this. It has a charging cable here, it's micro USB, and instructions in the back panel. All right, so I wanted to do a quick kind of run through the features of the Raphael 520, and then also kind of compare it real quickly to the other lines on the other styluses. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate what I would consider a bad stylus experience. This is the Wacom Bamboo ink, and this is the first generation, not the new one. What I want to point out and what I want you guys to see is line jitter. So zoomed in is going to be as nice as it possibly can, but you can see there's a lot of wobble right here. The second thing we're looking at is the pressure curve. So can you draw faint lines, and can you draw heavy lines, or light and dark? This is the Raphael 520, the new one, and we're going to draw just right next to this one. By the way, this one has tilt, so we're going to need to pick up a little bit. And you can see here, just the quality of the line is very different. There's much less wobble. And let's go ahead and compare this to the Surface stylus. And you can see these lines are almost identical. One thing that I do like actually better about the Raphael 5 is I think the pressure curve, I think they did a better job nailing the pressure curve. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here when we start really soft and then build up to heavy, and then we go back down. It's actually really important to see that going back down, because sometimes that is a problem. It doesn't quite work. So we start off really soft and build back up and go back down. Now, what I think the Surface stylus does wrong is that it doesn't have that low end tapped in by default. I'm trying to go as light as possible, and I can't get this same really faint line as I can get with the Raphael 5. So this is called initial activation force, and you can see very, very light, very light lines in here, which is great. And this is definitely one of the more important things that artists ask on a frequent basis. Can you do, what's the initial activation force? The initial activation force on this is actually quite low. I'd say lower than the Surface stylus. Now, if we go into, I have an app running in the background that shuts off the Win key, so I can't use it. Let's see, we'll go into here. This is a very good way to demonstrate a lot of the same things. Oh, we have to set it on here. Oh, it's set very low. Okay. All right, so we're going to erase. And you can see the very light, faint lines. And then the thick ones. Okay, and if you adjust this, it actually will adjust in real time, so you can see kind of the difference between those two things. For the Surface Stylus, as a lot of you guys know, I keep this at 3 because I think that the Surface Stylus at 7 it looks almost like the pen. So full pressure the entire time. There's no fluctuation there. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. They just updated this app and it's driving me bonkers. You can see drawing as faint as I can, and we're still seeing almost a full strength line. And here you can see faint, heavy, and faint. All right, so enough about that. Let's talk about the stylus itself. This is a 2-button stylus. The Surface Stylus has just 1 button here. It's very flush on the side. The first version of the Raphael stylus, the Raphael 5, is right here. And let's take a look at the differences between the two. So here you can see the stylus is about a 1/2 inch shorter. So compared to the Surface Stylus, right here, you can see it's about the same length as the Surface Stylus minus the eraser. Now, some people had asked about the thickness of the stylus, whether the stylus is much thinner or thicker than the Surface. Let's see. You can see this is difficult to see for sure. Let's tap. Thickness-wise, the Surface Stylus is definitely thicker, but it's not thicker by much. When I'm holding this one and when I'm holding this one, I don't think this one feels really thin. I think it feels actually very, very similar. It is lighter than the Surface Stylus. This one feels heavy. This one feels just slightly less than heavy. So not light, but definitely lighter than the Surface Stylus. And I don't have any problem with the weight of this pen or the weight of this pen. It is magnetic. And it's got a really nice magnetic connection. So it doesn't feel light or chintzy. The original one has a heavier connection here and a light connection here. This one is a little looser up here at the top and not quite as strong. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I have it the other way around. The magnet's stronger connected on one side versus the other, like very little magnet down here, strong magnet at the top, which may not make too much of a difference. This does feel more secure at the bottom and at the top, like it's equally connected. Another difference that I want to point out, let's go ahead and readjust this. Another difference that I want to point out is the wake time. So if you're using a Surface Stylus, it is always on. Here you can see this is a really good place to see the pressure curve. And here, pressing as light as I possibly can, I'm still getting, this is as light as I possibly can, and it goes immediately to really firm. Just better variance. All right, so here, 2-button stylus, and when you bring it up from sleep, because this one goes to sleep, this one stays on all the time, which is fine. I think this is actually ideal. When you turn this one on, you have to press the right-click button, and you'll see that little light just clicked on to say, hey, your stylus is active. Cool, man. This one, you can tap either button, and then this light, this is actually already on, so let's grab another one, black one, and we tap it, and it goes on right away. It's a little faster, and it does with either one. This one's actually not working correctly right now. But, so right click, or I'm sorry, eraser and right click. So one of the most important things that you guys are gonna need if you're taking notes or if you're doing 3D art, or anything that has a lot of complexity to the navigation, is you're gonna wanna have 2 buttons on the side of the pen. The eraser button, again, micro USB charging port. This one has a better battery life, by the way, versus the Raphael 520 better battery life. So here, and with this I'd go about a week and a half with a full charge. This one I've charged it once. I haven't needed actually to charge it again. And it's been, I think, a week and a half, so I really am not sure how much longer it is, but it's supposed to be a decent amount. And it charges twice as fast as this, which is, who cares? 2-hour charging, 1-hour charging to full charge. All right, so here you have the eraser is moved here on the side, which is a huge benefit for note takers and anyone who wants to use some of the extra functionality of the stylus. So I can write hello and erase it without having to do anything else. Now we had an update recently for Tablet Pro, which in OneNote allows you to map, actually in everything, it allows you to map buttons over here to locations. So I can actually click here by pressing here. So if you have a program that doesn't have a keyboard shortcut, that's all right. You can now make a keyboard shortcut. So we can go ahead and select everything and click delete. So having that extra functionality, like I said, is a huge benefit. Having the artist pad, if you're using Notes, OneNote or other programs, also is a big help. But some of the things that you're missing if you're using the Surface Stylus and you have only one button, there are other ways to get around it, so it's not the biggest thing. So the question really that you want to ask yourself is, do you need the Bluetooth function? This has no Bluetooth function, 0, none. And neither do actually most of the different ones that I tested also did not have Bluetooth function. That's something that tends to be missing in almost all of the aftermarket third-party styluses. And I think that's fine. Actually, I almost never use the Bluetooth function, and I toyed around with different ideas of using it to trigger microphone and triggering other different things, turning on the artist pads and stuff like that. And I find that I really just don't use it very often for pretty much anything. So there's other ways to do things without using the Bluetooth. So $100. I believe you can find them used on Amazon or at a good price on Amazon for $79. This over the weekend for Black Friday has a 30% discount. Instead of $49, I believe it's $35, which for a 2-button magnetic stylus with tilt, I mean, that's pretty awesome. And it has a fantastic line. I mean, really nice and clean and very responsive. Let's see, here's another one that does not work correctly. So if you're buying one online, you may get this type of a experience, and you don't want to buy the wrong one and end up spending, because I think this one was 40 bucks as well. Buy one that does something like this. So that is the Raphael 520 2-button stylus. It is my favorite one. It's actually the only one that I currently use. The rest of them just sit around. And so my top choice, best stylus for the Surface, best stylus for Surface compatible or Microsoft Pen Protocol devices, aka N-Trig. All right, that's it, you guys. I put a link in the description. I'm working actually to become an affiliate directly with Renacer because I think they make a great product. And I try and do things a little bit different than some reviewers do, and I've talked about this a couple different times. But as far as affiliate things, I think that really you can tell the integrity of a person most of the time, whether they're just doing things for money or whether they actually use these products and are trying to help you find something that they wish they could find, which is where I'm at. I looked a lot, obviously, spent a decent amount of money with different styluses. By the way, here's the slim stylus, $144. And it performs the same way as the Renacer and the Surface Pen. I don't think you could arguably say it's better in any way. It's thin. It's better in the thin category, but not quite as comfortable to hold. Does some things fine, recharges, but honestly, the recharging issues is maybe a 5% issue, where not having two buttons for me is like a 70% issue. So anyway, the whole thing with affiliates, I think that if you find something that you like, then as a reviewer, you reach out to the company and say, hey, I'd like to be an affiliate for whatever product this is. And you kind of go about it that way, like you reach out to them. And sometimes it works the other way, and that's fine. But I know a lot of people are really concerned about promoting products because they're worried that it'll tarnish their reviewing abilities. And I just want to say, hey, it's okay. It's all right to promote things that you truly actually like. So, Raphael 520, truly actually like it. It's a great stylus. And if you have questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'll be checking those regularly. And I have an affiliate link in the description. Please use that. I appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you.